Hi, Aquarius, Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2022 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So the month begins with Neptune going direct on the 3rd of the month at 22 degrees of Pisces. This is your second house of finances. Neptune has probably created some confusion or some kind of obscurity as it pertains to your finances, since it has been in this sector for the past 10 years. Now, of course, this is a general forecast, so it may not have been here that long, but when Neptune is in the second house, there can be some kind of fog that occurs when you're talking about the kind of money that you're earning, or perhaps you're not as um, interested in money for money's sake. Maybe you have a more spiritual attitude and you just believe that the universe is going to provide for you. And so it's like a whole different vibe. Um, Neptune retrograde. This has been going on for several months. And when that happened, you may have been shocked at some kind of situation going on with your finances that you did not know about. And now that Neptune is, it's always like a reality check or something like that. Now that Neptune's direct, you can utilize this energy in a more idealistic way so that, it might be good for the law of attraction, for visualizing the kind of things that you want on the material level when they haven't gotten here yet. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Capricorn. So you're going to have some 12th house action going on this December, Aquarius. This isn't unusual at all. But Mercury in the 12th is really about the spiritual kind of consciousness that meditation provides. This isn't the practical mind. This is the mind that is tapped into other realms. So it really is good for that kind of activity. But there can be vague fears. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. It's in the house of past life karma and things like that. And because it's Pisces domain, it can even be that empathic kind of influence that means that you're tapping into other people's fears or worries or what have you, and that can affect you that way. But if you decide to meditate and make a point of meditating at this time, it can keep you on track. It's also good for inspiration. On the 7th, that's the next day, we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini, and this is a fellow air sign, so this forms a trine to your sun or your ascendant. And this is coming from this is ahead of you. So this is going to be in the 5th house, which is a house of creativity and love. This is a very fun place, but something may be coming to a head, maybe over with, maybe moving on to a new status. Any one of those could be the case. So let's say you've been dating someone. The 5th house can be the dating scene. And you realize that you've been dating several people and you don't want to continue to see a bunch of people. You want to be monogamous with this person. Well, that's the 7th house when you have a committed partnership. So it could be that this full moon is bringing things to their the highest point, and now you have to move to the next level. But this is the house of love, and if you have been holding on to someone, even just on the energetic level, this can be a great assistance in letting go of that. It can also be realizing that you do love someone. Aquarians tend to be very detached, and you may be so much in your mind that when you have been seeing somebody and maybe they have to go away for a week, you realize, hey, I miss this person. I think it's love. It can be secrets coming out about somebody that you're seeing, but it's very good for creativity because it's a very fertile time for that kind of thing. On the 9th, Venus goes into that 12th house in Capricorn. So this means that for the first week and a half, Venus is in your domain, Aquarius, the house that you rule in astrology, which is the 11th house and is all about groups, settings, your friends. And this can mean that you meet a love interest through your social network in some capacity, through a group that you belong to. And then you kind of keep that relationship a bit secret. You don't necessarily reveal it to those around you. Maybe there's a very good reason for that, because you don't want the scrutiny. You want to be able to develop the relationship on your own. And the other thing, too, about Venus in the 11th is that this is the house of gains. So that could be, bode well for career matters. But when it goes into the 12th, it's in this hidden area. And it can also be like when it is in the 12th, it can be meeting a soulmate or some other karmic love. On the 20th, which seems like a long time to go between transits, major transits, but Jupiter goes back into Aries. Now, Jupiter for the first few weeks is in Pisces. And, you already have Neptune in Pisces, so you got Neptune and Jupiter. Jupiter's the ancient ruler of Pisces. So it has a connection to Pisces already. And this is your second house of earned income, which is very good for financial matters. And now that Jupiter is going forward, things can go forward in this area. You may have seen a little bit of a dip while Jupiter was retrograding, but now it's progressing. So it's possible that there's going to be some kind of good fortune involved while this transit is going. This will happen. You'll have Jupiter in this area until mid-May when it goes into Taurus. So that's, well, no, wait a minute. What am I talking about? In Aries. Yeah. It'll go into Taurus in mid-May. So that's 5 months, I guess. That's a pretty long time for it to be in that second house. That's nice. Oh no, back into Aries is the third house. Okay, so I'm thinking of Pisces. So it will be there for the first 3 weeks, in other words. And then it goes into your third house. When Jupiter is in your third house, which it was earlier this year, it's earlier on. This is the house of communication. This is the media, including social media. And so things that you begin that have any kind of connection with with online communities are favorable. And also, this can give a lot of opportunities for training, because the third house can be the skills that you learn. And that might be important for particular jobs that you're looking for. And you might say the more the merrier, but sometimes people have to pay out of their own pocket or they don't have the time to do it, and somehow you're aligned in that area. This can also be good for neighbors. Maybe you move into a place where you really like the people that live next door to you and they are good luck for you in some way. Same with siblings. Jupiter in the third um, can mean that your siblings bless you in some way. On the 21st, we have the winter solstice. I realize in some places it's a summer solstice. Down under it's a summer solstice, but where I live in my neck of the woods, it's the winter solstice, and this is when the sun goes into Capricorn. Just like with the equinoxes, these are power periods of the changing of the seasons, and it's all in cardinal signs, in this case, Capricorn. So, once again, this is your 12th house, and so this is your hibernation period, the time when the sun goes into that area of solitude, of contemplation, the 12th house, the hermit's house. You may feel like you need to rest more, that you need to um, be alone more than normal. Normally, you are. And you should definitely listen to your body, listen to your um, consciousness, your intuition telling you what is good for you. I notice these kinds of things myself, whether it's my natal chart or my solar chart, but it really is, even if you don't feel it and it doesn't feel like it's like you've lost any energy, it's not necessarily a bad idea just to do it, just to have that kind of time for yourself where you're not necessarily socializing. This It's funny though because this is right around Christmas, so that's a time when a lot of people are socializing. But this will not be the case for everybody exactly on this date because your chart may be different and you're not having it in um, the 12th house at that time. So, regardless, this is a time for all of us to feel that shift where the energy is becoming, going into this cardinal sign. The sun is bringing along with it change, because cardinal energy is about action. And sometimes we're just kind of bopping along, things aren't really happening, and then all of a sudden they start to rock and roll. On the 23rd, we have a new moon in Capricorn in that 12th house for you, and that's at 1 degree of Capricorn. So it is at a very early degree. And how I like to interpret that is that it's really about newness. It can be something completely new. So in the 12th house, it can be uh, a new spiritual practice that you've never tried before. Maybe it's not even connected to the religion or spiritual belief system that you typically follow, and you're trying something completely different. Um, but I honestly think that for a lot of you, this is going to be in the 11th house because of that 1 degree of Capricorn. So, but I'm not really good at, visualizing that. And even sometimes when I thought I was right, I wasn't quite sure after I did the readings. So I'm talking about these readings. So take that with a grain of salt. But in case you do know your chart and you know it's in your 11th house, then that can just mean that you are joining a group that is totally different. It's kind of like so different than what you're used to because you're exposing yourself to new people altogether. On the 29th, Mercury goes retrograde. It just seems like Mercury went retrograde. Now it's happening again. Oof. This is at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So suffice it to say that 12th house of yours is getting quite a workout. And, you know, for a lot of people, the holiday season is a time of a lot of partying, whether it literally means, when what people do at parties or just this sense of socializing. And yet there might be a side to you or an influence of yours that is craving solitude at this time. Even if you're in the midst of some kind of big group of people, you might be thinking it. And I mean, this too shall pass in the sense that all influences, they kind of morph over time. And I mean, I'm just thinking about certain things myself that have changed. Even if I haven't fundamentally changed, certain things have. And the same applies to all of you. And you may realize that you have shifted in certain areas, and then at the same time, you might think that there still is work to do. In the 12th house, this is about looking at self-defeating patterns. That's the 12th house is the house of self-undoing, and I don't know if Aquarians are particularly destructive. I think that there's a lot to be said for air signs in terms of being able to be detached enough to deal with negative circumstances in a more even-handed way. So perhaps you feel that you've already done all the work, or you just at least have escaped certain situations, but there might be something else that is going on that you are rethinking about, and it might have some spiritual connection. Maybe you have already joined some kind of a group and you're not quite sure that you're on the same page with other people. But in any case, that's what I have for you, Aquarius, and I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, I am promoting my double readings called my deep dive readings because I expanded my readings to give more time so that people can have a more thorough reading. It's an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits for a special price. I sell these readings separately, but you can save, I don't know, $25 or something along those lines by buying those readings together in a package deal. And I also have another double reading with the tarot involved, and of course standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.